Hey everyone, I'm Skytrius, and this week I'll be trying something different. I want to make a devlog of the work that I do this week. We will transition from RMGUI, which is this application that I'm currently making, into retained mode. Recently I've been trying this library from Noxt or Nathan, which is Luigi. It's a bare bones single header GUI library. You can see a preview of some of the applications that he made with this. Now, this is software rendering, so it doesn't look quite as nice, but it's really, really efficient. He also made a blog. Maybe I can find it, part 1. And here he pretty much just goes through the ways how you might want to try to do layouting and such, everything in retained mode. So I went ahead and implemented most of this stuff, and this is what I got so far. What we can see is I pretty much replicated most of what I have in Todool already, besides all the text stuff. Right, so on the left we got RMGUI, on the right we got retained mode. So same renderer, same everything, but obviously the way you work with this data is different, right? And in my opinion, retained mode so far has been way easier to do, to implement, and to use so far. But obviously, I still haven't implemented everything, so that's what we're gonna do this week. Let's just kind of go over the UI that I have in here. So on the top, I have like a top bar that can switch between modes. And then on here, I have like this element or these text fields that based on the indentation, it just goes further and further, and you can actually press on these. That's what we have here, and then another button to kind of have floating windows appear. In the middle, we got the big panel that fills up to the area that's not being used. And on the bottom, we have a status bar, kind of. Some settings like opacity and such, and also timer buttons and such. So that's kind of what I did here. Is I just kind of mocked it out. A way to switch between different modes. A test button. This one doesn't do anything. Here I can actually open up some applications, or not applications, just separate things like a table in this example, and a button in a separate window, right? I got a theme editor as well, like a basic one where you can just change some parameters and it updates the other window as well. So very cool. Toggle, some sliders, and all this stuff, right? All I'm really trying to show is that both of these UIs can be implemented the same way. So the only difference is really the API and how you work with the UI. And obviously, retained mode manages more of your data, but this is a goal. We want to implement basic movement of text boxes. Essentially, everything here is a text box, how you get from one text box to another, and how you can lay out them differently like this in a Kanban style. So I've done this in RMGUI. It's just that this is very, very difficult. So I'm hoping that retained mode, or with this rewrite in retained mode, I can make the application faster, I have to manage less, and that it feels more coherent, right? That's a goal for this week. And I've already gone ahead and implemented a lot of stuff. For the patrons, I'm just going to go through some of the code. So something I forgot to mention was that I actually already have some of Todool in here working. So I got animations from one line to another going. So if we switch the location of one, it lerps to that. Indentation is also working, but you can see it's kind of arbitrary. It's something I know that people wanted from the alpha, which is like just being able to move around a little bit more freely. So that's kind of what I want to try more. So I still want to have automation, like setting a task state to green or to red. Should still change this one or change the parents. But I feel like it should be more free, right? Anyway, so now the goal is to just make this look better, to implement more features that I had in the RMGUI version and just kind of see how this would pan out in the end. So that's what we're going to do now. All right, end of the night. I just want to show you the progress I've done. Changed it quite a bit, the way the indexing works and how I access the elements. So now I can just move from each visible line. I can, even if something is hidden, I can just easily move between them. And since the movement is a little bit different with this prototype, I also made the swapping, so left and right still works the same, but you can actually swap down and up and it stays with the indentation. So pretty cool, I like this a lot. And I'm considering this. With that said, that's kind of it for the movement almost. So we'll be seeing how things go tomorrow. So I added multi-line selection now, and it's actually really, really great. The thing I showed you at night was that I could add or shift things around very nicely in a tree-like manner. And I extended this to have multi-line selection. And before this, I implemented it in a really bad way in the alpha that you can see. And here it's similar to a text box. So it has a head and a tail. And then you can just move things around. You can move through the selected lines and just change things like this, all based on the selection or on the multi-selection. So we can delete multiple lines, all that stuff, and it just works very easily. And we can swap things around very nicely. Alright, so it's been some time and I have reworked the design of some of the elements I have in. So something that you might see now is that each text box has this white outline or this like a white box. And bigger strings have bigger fonts. I don't know if that was in the last video clip. I've mostly been working on this part. I added these little indentation guides as well. So if you, similar to text editors, depending on where you're at with the cursor, that works. I made the shift events retain their indentation because after thinking about it, I'm just gonna retain them. Makes more sense in my opinion. That's pretty much been it. So the reason why I have the white outlines now is so that you know where you can click first up. And then another thing is, it kind of is important because you can have line wrapping now, which is also what I added back. So you actually see the line of text that belongs to the wrapped line. So it makes more sense now. By the way, the color scheme is temporary right now. It's just been, these are placeholder colors. So yeah, so line wrapping works. It has a limit and then it doesn't do it anymore. But it's very nice getting this to work and line selection, stuff like that. Kanban mode works in the same way, so it has these like white outlines, right? But it also has the Kanban outline now highlighted with a different color. But you see, it works very, very nicely now. And actually, if we go in a bigger view, see that. Now, one thing I don't like with this is that you see the end of these lines. And yeah, like I said, animations and stuff like that, those work nicely. Then if you go over to the Kanban board, it actually looks and feels pretty good now. And with the movement and such, everything works as well. And the word wrapping also looks pretty decent now as well. So this makes more sense. And this is how things like Trello or do they layouting. So mainly the reason why I do this is because I was thinking about where tags and such would belong. And before that, I had them on the left, but I actually don't quite like that. So I'm experimenting with putting them underneath the lines like this. The tags would now be in place, and since you have the outline of the whole text box, you know it belongs to that one. Now, whether they should be on top or on bottom, I don't know. But something I've seen as well is that you could actually have other data on top, stuff like images and such. So that's about that. Hopefully I didn't talk too much, but that's some of the design decisions I've made and that I want to try out. So again, text wrapping works very nicely now. It's great. Something I added just today was undo redo behavior for this rework, and it's just very nice. I looked at the source code from Essence OS, if you don't know that one, and it's this OS made by one person, but it's made by Nox, and it's just amazing, right? And his undo system actually works very nicely. Let me just go over it very quickly. That's essentially how Todool looks now. And obviously the theme and such, it's all temporary. I have this small little theme editor. I'm probably gonna stick to these colors here. So the background of the whole application that will be used, even for other layers. I have the shadow, all the drop shadows. I have the text color, so there I can go and color these different based on the state. So text normal is the normal text color used by everything by default. Text good color is the whatever is supposed to be good in your color scheme. Then the text bad color is really red, right? So this color. The caret and such, it's all temporary, right? So the caret is blue in this case, RGB. Can make it light bluish, whatever, or reddish. That the caret highlight is this. We can make it alpha. No, won't work. But yeah, and then selection here, that's green. Not very nice colors, I know. It's pretty cool having the theme editor with like its own UI system, just be able to manipulate stuff like this very, very easily without any hassle. So that's mainly the whole reason why I did the rewrite. It's because my old UI system mainly just plain sucked. It was never as good as this, I can tell you that. So yeah, that's about what I have to show. It was mostly just internal work, thinking about the design, implementing the undo redo system, just trying to make everything look as good as possible in this case, obviously. But yeah, a lot of work going on beneath. So yeah, the main one that I just worked on was this Kanban. I made sure that stuff like the Kanban works infinitely with indentations, where you just have like a finite amount of space, which is like 300 pixels right now, or it will have the minimum space, and then the Kanban outline just will increase. What I didn't show, the tags will also be shown in here. So the way the lines or the tasks are drawn are the same on each mode. So let me know what you guys think about this. I really enjoy working on this right now. And like I said, we have a bunch of cool features, like being able to do multiple windows now, and also being able to do scaling like this very nicely. So let me know what you guys think. This is probably gonna be it for this vlog series. I already recorded a lot, but it's been more than a week now, so I should probably upload this. If you haven't followed me yet, please do so on my YouTube, and also check out my Patreon if you want to get these videos earlier, or if you want to get the Todool license. Also, I have a Discord, so please join that one. Thank you.